I am coming straight out of a conference room of a heroic small business owner where I had the privilege of being able to meet with the team, their key leadership, and we met recently. They went to a conference and they're coming back. So we wanted to make sure that we had a moment to take everything from that conference. You know how it is. You go to a conference, get overwhelmed, drinking from a fire hydrant, and you never do anything with it. Hey, it's Scott Beebe, the Business on Purpose podcast. And as always, you can head on over to mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision if you want to draw out your vision story, or 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com. It's all spelled out, 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com if you're in chaos and need out. So as we were talking with this team, we wanted to collate everything that they had taken away from this awesome conference to make sure that there was some implementation, because it was quite the investment to take these guys and to invest that time and to invest the money. It was multiple thousands of dollars to do this. And so one of the things that came back from the conference was a refreshed, updated team meeting, which is, if you're no stranger to the podcast, you know we talk incessantly about agenda-driven, leader-led, technology-free team meetings that are repetitious and highly, highly predictable. That's where the agenda comes in. And so as this team, by the way, the owner was not in the room, as this team was building out kind of their dream meeting structure, I think you might be surprised at some of what they want. So I thought I'd read it to you straight from my notepad. It's actually an iPad, but I can write on it with a pencil now, and so it looks like a notepad. So number one, they want a clear purpose and goal of the meeting. They don't want it to be something that's just haphazard. They do just because you're supposed to do it, but they want a clear, written out, remember, if you don't write it down, you don't own it. They want a clear, written out purpose and goal of the meeting. The second thing they said they wanted, and this is in no particular order, by the way, but they said they wanted a clear agenda. A clear agenda. Well, of course, we talk about that. We want in your agenda the different elements to be either highs and lows, big wins, a review of some story tied to your mission and values each week, accountability review from last week's items, of course, the business discussion for this week based on your systems, and then whatever that discussion leads to in action items for next week, you gotta have a time slot for that. And then finally, training. 5 to 10 minutes of training on either an existing process or a new process that you build together. And that accounts for training as well. Now, here's some of the other things that they said that they wanted. They wanted to understand what clear metrics they needed to pull every time they meet. Notice they want that. They want to share the metrics. They want to share how they're doing, because if they're doing great, obviously they want to receive the pat on the back. But if they're not doing great, they want to ask the collective of the group in the meeting to say, hey, how can I do better? What can I be inserting to do better than what's happening right there? And then also they wanted those metrics to be color-coded, green, yellow, or red, a la Alan Mulally, Ford Motor Company, in his BPR meetings. Look it up, book American Icon by Bryce Hoffman. It's a powerful story of how those things are integrated. One of the other things they mentioned that they wanted is they wanted some brag time, some time to brag on a team member, not on themselves, but on a team member. And then with that, as we talked more about it, they wanted 2 types of trophies in the room, literal physical trophies in the room. One is a life-size replica of the Stanley Cup, because why wouldn't you have that? And the other is, I'll be polite, is the back end, the rear end of a horse. Yeah, they make those, by the way. Just Google it. The rear end of a horse trophy. So somebody who came up and just didn't implement, they get the horses behind. But the person who is getting bragged on for doing something special, they get the replica Stanley Cup for the duration of the meeting. And then next meeting, it rotates. Also, they wanted during the business discussion time for each team member to actually have to physically stand up and present a set of slides based on the metrics they had to pull. Why? Well, because it creates a certain time slot for that presentation so it doesn't linger on and on and on. But it also helps them to grow as leaders, because now they're learning to deliver presentations in a safe place in front of their peers, so that when that time emerges in front of vendors, customers, they're ready to go. They've sharpened their sword. They're ready to present. One of the other things they wanted was they wanted just a quick accountability on a task sheet. Now that'll come during the accountability times in the agenda. They're asking for that. They want to be held accountable because they want to know if they're doing a great job or not. And so those elements are there. I thought you might be surprised as to what employees, team members wanted within team meetings. So you, the heroic small business owner, don't be afraid of the team meetings. I think your team members will really appreciate it if you do it. But remember, it all starts with vision, right? mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision. You start there, and then we'll get to the team meetings after that's done. Hey, I just want to tell you thank you. Thanks for investing a few minutes on this podcast. Every episode we have, this would kind of be pointless without your ears consuming this and then, of course, implementing. So we'll see you next time right here on the Business on Purpose podcast.